Hello, I'm Brad Phillips and welcome to Puppy Steps Training. So today I've got Chloe with me. She's in the crate behind me and we're going to be showing off the training that she has received. So in this video we're going to cover the manners, the obedience commands, and the leash work. Whereas that first video, that's the introduction to the demonstration, that goes over my 3 keys to success as well as my potty training and crate training expectations. So make sure you watch that video first, as those 3 keys will be incorporated into everything that we do with Chloe during this demonstration. So before I dive in and start working on the manners, I just want to touch on a few things specific to Chloe. So Chloe is a very fun dog. She's very sweet, highly motivated, highly driven. So she has a need to be working. If she doesn't have a job to do, I could see that turning into some destructive behaviors. So it is important that we give her a job and we give her plenty of exercise. And know that just putting her outside isn't going to exercise her, as most dogs won't exercise themselves. Instead, she'll get bored, and that's when she's going to look for something to chew on or somewhere to go and dig. Just all destructive behaviors come from boredom. So, give her plenty of time to exercise, both physically as well as mentally. She is very smart, and once again, she loves to work, she loves to train. And so she's a really fun dog to work with, and she just needs something to do to kind of channel all of that energy as well as that focus. So I'm super excited to dive in and show you everything that we have taught her. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hop into her manners. And the first manner that we are going to demonstrate is her gates and her doorways. So anytime I let her out of the crate, or we go through a house door, we go through a closed gate outside, just anytime we're going through a closed threshold together, I expect her to hold an automatic stay. So I don't care what position she's in, if she's standing, sitting, laying down, as long as she shows that she can be focused and in control. If that ever becomes a struggle for her, then I might ask her to sit. I'm going to help her, be more contained, and then help her focus on me. So this behavior you can absolutely teach to any threshold in your home, but for right now, for the basic obedience that we've done with Chloe, I do it for any closed door that we're going through together. And bare minimum, I would keep this with the crate and any exterior door. Those are going to be times where you know that there's going to be a charge, and I want to make sure that she's able to kind of control her impulses and show that she can be calm. So when I let her out of the crate here, if she tried to even step out, I might simply close that gate and tell her no. But I'm not going to tell her to stay. Like I said, this is an automatic behavior. But my expectation is I should be able to open that, step away, and then I'll say okay to release her. And then I'm going to walk her over. I will have her ring the bells, and we'll take her out to the bathroom. And that way you can see her ring the bells, and you'll be able to I will be able to show you this exterior door. So when we go through that one, I'm going to have her on leash, so if she tried to run past, I could simply give her a quick correction, or I could use my legs and block her. But she never gets to just bolt past me. If she does, I'm going to tell her no, I'm going to go and get her and have her do it again. If she gets away with it, then she learns, oh, you know what, if I'm fast enough or if I'm sneaky enough, I don't have to do this behavior. Where I want her to understand that the way that she gets released, the way that she gets more freedom, is by being under control. Okay, so we're going to let her out. Okay, good girl. Good girl. So I'm going to hook this leash on her. Good dog. And walk her over to the bells. So when you walk her over, okay, outside, usually all I have to do is get close where I can stare, and then she's going to touch them. Okay, outside, good girl. So now we're going to come through. Like I said, I don't care what position she's in, as long as she's showing me that she can be in control. Notice I haven't told her anything. She's just waiting at this threshold. Okay, good girl. I have the same expectation for coming back in. She just needs to show that she is under control. Okay, good girl. When we take her outside to go to the bathroom, I'm going to pace around, walk around in a circle. I want her to be sniffing, so that way she finds the right place to go. We're out there for a minute or two, because any longer than that, Chloe gets distracted and wants to find something to do. But like I said, bare minimum with those doorways, keep it with any exterior door as well as coming out of the crate. help her control those impulses. So now we're going to demonstrate her greeting or her sit to greet. So anytime that Chloe wants my attention or I call her over, I expect her to sit to get my attention. And this is going to be one of the first things that you do with her is this exercise that I'm going to show you. So one, it establishes our greeting. It helps her understand how she gets my attention, as well as it helps her engage with me. So she's focused on me and she's, once again, under some control. So what you're going to do when you get her home is you're going to take your treat bag, which I'm sending you, some treats, and the leash. I'm going to hook it on her, and I'm just going to say her name, take a few steps backwards, and wait for her to sit. So you're going to do this probably 3 or 4 times each day over the next 3 to 4 days. So just to really drive this point home, help Chloe understand that you're her new family, and that she needs to give you the same respect that she gives me. And so when you do this, I'm going to do it 3 times in a row. Once she sits, I'll say, okay, give her a treat. And then on the 3rd time, you can go ahead and pet her. So it looks like this. Chloe, we take a few steps back. Okay, good girl. Chloe, take a few steps back. Nope. So as I said, she's very driven and she wants to work. Okay, good girl. And so she's going to be offering behaviors, which is what she's doing when I walk back. Chloe. Nope. She wants to go into the crate or onto the bed. And you'll see this throughout the demonstration. Okay, good girl. Is that she's going to want to offer behaviors just as quick as she can, because she's wants to do something all the time. So a very simple exercise. Good girl. But this is just to help her understand what my expectations are. That when she approaches me, she needs to sit. This is also a replacement behavior for jumping. So if she jumped up on me, I'm going to quickly tell her no and step into her. You can also use the command off. So I use off, like if she's jumping up on the cupboards or she tried to jump up on the couch or really anything that I don't want her to. I'll also use that if I have her on leash and she tried to jump on somebody. I can tell her no, off, and give her a correction. But this behavior or this exercise that we're doing helps her understand that the appropriate behavior instead of jumping is to sit. Like I said, if she tried to jump up on me, I'm going to step into her and bring my knee up. She's never allowed to jump. Also part of this is if you're going to give her a treat and she tries to meet you halfway and jump up, I'm going to tell her no and take that treat away. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, manner that we've had to work on with Chloe is having a soft mouth. She would get almost vicious taking treats. I call her my little land shark because she would take off my hand. So we have spent a ton of time and taught her the command gently. So if I feel like she's going to use her teeth or be a little too mouthy, I will tell her gently and expect her to be soft. So when I give her treats, I do not give her a treat between my thumb and forefinger. Because if I do that, a lot of times she's going to take both fingers with the treat. I have been spending some time practicing this just to help her be aware. So I can tell her gently, good girl, and she is going to be soft. But because you guys are new these first couple days, I would be prepared for her to get a little overly excited and try and take that treat, a little too hard. In general, when I'm giving her a treat, I put it in the palm of my hand and I cover it with my thumb. So that way, if she tries to go in a little too hard, I use my fingers and I just kind of flex them into the bottom of her chin. So it's not really hard, but it's just a quick little pop just to help her understand that she needs to be soft. So if I tell her gently, she needs to be very cautious when taking it. And this one you're going to have to continue to use because when she gets excited, she goes in hard for the treat. So you can also use gently. If she reared up, that would be another time where I would say, oh, you're getting a little too excited for the treat. I could pull that away and also use gently. Chloe. Good girl. Okay. Good. Okay. So over the next 3 days, she needs to decompress and she needs to get used to you. And so we're going to stress on the manners the most. The commands, the leash work, that'll all transition over relatively easily. But during the first 3 days, I just want her to adjust to us. And so these manners are what you're going to focus on. Everybody in your family that has regular interactions with Chloe is going to do that exercise that I showed you, where we, hush, nope, where we take a step back and she comes and sits. Okay. With small children, a lot of times I will hold the leash and then we'll walk her up and wait for her to sit down. So that way, if she tried to jump, I could pop that leash and I would get a little bit of distance. So I'd walk away, help her reset, and then we'd do it again. Now, when we're out and about, say you're on a walk, you're gonna have people say, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute. Can I pet her? To which I say 95% of the time, you are gonna tell people no. You're gonna say, no, she's in training, and we'll step to the side and I'll have her sit for me, Chloe. And I'll reward her for being calm. But seriously, the majority of the time, 95% of the time, I'm telling people no. Because if we let everybody meet her, pretty soon she thinks that's her job. So every time we're on a walk, she sees somebody new, she needs to bark or pull to them because she thinks she needs to meet every person on a walk. Where I want to teach her that she's not supposed to meet anybody on a walk. It's me and her, we're focusing on engagement, we're focusing on our relationship, and we're just going for a walk. Now, 5% of the time, it's okay. And usually for me, that's maybe I know somebody, so we're just gonna stop and talk for a second. And so I need her just to be under control. Or I'm kind of a sucker because I have little kids and little kids love puppies. So if they wanna meet her, I can say, yes, this is Chloe, but she needs to be under control. And so when I'm going to allow somebody else to meet my dog, I'm gonna stop maybe 5 or 6 feet short, have them wait. I'm gonna have Chloe do this sit for me. I will reward her, and then I will invite them up. I would much rather have them approach us than me approach them. Because if they approach me, I'm prepared to correct her. So if she pulls, if she jumps, I'm gonna tell her no, I'm gonna get some distance, and then we can try again. So even if that's just 10 feet, ask for a little reset, and then try it again. Whereas if I'm approaching them, a lot of times what I see is that last 4 feet, the puppy pulls and we let them get away with it. Right? So then they learn it's okay to pull. The other hard part with people meeting your dog is if Chloe gets out of control at all, if she jumps, if she paws, if she mouths, we're leaving, we're going away. And that's hard to do with people you don't know. Well, even people you do know, it's just hard to correct your dog in front of other people. But if we don't correct that, then she thinks, oh, new people on the street, I can get away with bad behavior. So that's why I say the majority of the time, just tell people no, focus on building a relationship with Chloe, helping her understand that when we're on a walk, it's about me and her, it's not about other people. Chloe, good girl, good girl. Okay, so during that, we covered jumping, the greeting, as well as gently. Now, a couple other parts to jumping as well as mouthing, so if she tried to nibble on me. So if I'm down here at her level and I'm petting her, which is great, right? She loves it. If she tried to climb up on me, like if she put paws up here, I have to correct that. A lot of times we let one paw slide because it's like, oh, they're not really jumping, but one paw is going to lead to 2, and then she's in my face. So I have to correct that. So I would tell her no off, and I would slide her away. I want to make sure that I take my hands away because my hands deliver all the good things. They deliver pets, they deliver treats. And so by removing my hands, that's a very clear body language that I don't appreciate it. Chloe. So same thing if I was petting her and she tried to nibble on me. So sometimes I set them up. When I wear my hoodie, I put the drawstrings right in their face. I try and get my watch band there, sleeves. If she ever puts her mouth on me, I'm going to tell her no and close her muzzle. So it's not harsh, I'm not being mean, but it's no, and then I remove my hands. Make sure that she's in control, and then I can go back to petting her. If she did it again, it's no, and I remove myself. So she's not allowed to chew on me, and she's not allowed to jump on me. If she starts chewing on something she's not supposed to, like maybe she grabbed a shoe, in that case I could tell her drop it, but then I would replace it. So I want to make sure that I correct the negative behavior and then redirect her into something appropriate. So if she's chewing on a baseboard, I'm going to tell her no. So I mark the incorrect behavior and then I redirect her to something she can chew on. So I always want to help her be successful, and by just saying no, 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 she doesn't ever learn what she's allowed to do. She just always hears the word no. So we want to make sure with chewing that we give her things to chew on. She's also in the heat of teething. If I actually look at her teeth here, oh, she's got one adult tooth coming in, and she's got a pile left to lose. So she needs to chew. We need to make sure that we give her appropriate things to chew on. Otherwise, she's going to go find things to chew on. And I want to make sure that when she's done chewing on something, I pick it up so we kind of preserve some of the excitement around it. If she always has access to her toys, she's going to get bored with them and go find something new to chew on. Huh. Good girl. So before I pull out her food, we're going to play with the toy for a second. Okay. And show you the drop it command. So when I'm playing with Chloe, I can just tell her, Chloe, drop it. No, good girl. So when she spits it out, I tell her good. That way I can take it. Okay. And I say okay when she gets it back. Good girl. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. Now if she lunges for it, I can simply tell her no and kind of push her away. Okay, good girl. If she refused to give it up, then I would actually remove it from her. So I would tell her no and then take it away. So if I had to take it away, here, I'm not going to ask her to drop it. So that way, we can play. I can say no, and I curl my fingers around her lips, which then wrap them around her canines. Okay. So she doesn't get to ignore me. Chloe. Oh, you left it. You dropped it. Get your toy. Huh. Okay. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. So when I work on drop it, I'm just incorporating myself into her play. I want to make it fun. And she always gets the toy back. So you notice I'm not giving her any treats. I never mix toys and treats because I want their reward to be the toy. I want her to keep this toy drive because this is a great way to burn some energy as well as kind of burn off some of the mental buildup throughout the day. Chloe, drop it. You can tell that she is teething, huh? Okay, good girl. I would imagine that she's going to lose a couple teeth here pretty quick, especially because I can see some blood on the toy already. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. Okay. Now, if she has something edible that I'm taking away, then I can give her a treat in return. Or if she has something really gross, like if we're on a walk and she picks up something, whether it's dead or garbage, I can ask for a drop it, and then I would give her something in return. And if it's something gross on the road, you might also accompany that with a leave it so that she leaves it alone. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. No. So here, where she went back for it, I'm going to tell her no and take it away. So where she did that, I'm going to ask for a little sit. Good girl. Okay, good girl. And I'm going to try and get her to play with it. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. So if she continued to ignore me or try and lunge for it again, I'm going to keep a hold of it or keep her really close so that I can work on that and make sure that she doesn't think, oh, I can just run away with it or pull it away and then I don't have to listen. That's also why this command, which a lot of the commands I don't let little kids do because they're not going to follow through. Where if she got away with that, if she grabbed that toy and ran away, I have to go and get it from her. Because if she thinks that, oh, if I just run away, if they have to chase me, then I win, then you're going to have a dog that plays keep away all the time. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. Yeah. Now, if I'm taking the toy away, I can give her a treat in replacement. Okay. Mealtime manners. So anytime I feed her, I expect Chloe to hold an automatic sit-stay. So usually I shake that bowl, she sits down, and I'm going to take a few steps back and lower that bowl. If at any point her butt comes up, that food bowl comes up. But she needs to wait patiently. She's looking for me, looking at me for permission. Okay, and then okay releases her. We have been actually using a slow feeding bowl lately with her because she inhales it. It's just her personality is just very high energy, high drive. And so if you let her just engorge herself on a whole bowl of food like that, she's going to get air in there, and then she throws it up to then eat it again. So a slow feeding bowl, or I'll put something like a tennis ball in the bowl so she has to move it around. Just anything to help her slow down. No. So there, she broke. Just simply told her no, lifted the food bowl up, and now she's waiting patiently. Okay, good girl. So notice, like, even though she's a little crazy with her food, she's not getting aggressive. And we've even spent some time hand feeding her to help her kind of slow down and make sure that she's comfortable with me being around her food. So she doesn't have any like resource guarding or anything like that. She's just inhales it. And really that goes with me handling her toys, bully sticks, anything that's hers. Like, she's fine with me handling it. She's just intense. So that's even, handling her, brushing her. I mean, we've trimmed around her eyes, handling her ears. She's fine, she's comfortable with being handled. I don't think that she, besides the slow feeder, oh, you got a little dirt in your coat. She's very comfortable with being handled. Her least favorite is if I flip her upside down, which is kind of typical of an intense dog, as they don't like to be on their back. But you can see she then relaxes and she's fine. So we spent a lot of time grooming her, a lot of time handling her, helping her feel comfortable. This is something you need to continue to do. You need to hold her like you're going to clip her nails. You need to hold her like she was being groomed. We brush her every single day. She gets rinsed off all the time because she loves to find the mud. So she's very comfortable with that. But if she can squirm and get away, then she's going to try that all the time. If she squirms, if she seems uncomfortable, I'll stop what I'm doing, but I'm going to hold her. I'm not going to let her down. I do not want her thinking if she throws a temper tantrum, she can get away with not having her nails clipped or not getting brushed. So you need to continue to handle her, continue to practice the grooming. Okay. Just to kind of go along with that and show you some of this. So here's a bully stick. So you can see, like, obviously she wants to go take it, but she's not going to growl. She's not going to act like, she's not going to act aggressive or uncomfortable. She's very comfortable with me handling her stuff. And I can also tell her gently, gently, good girl, okay. And let her chew on it. So if I want to take this from her, I can say drop it, and I expect her to let it go. So like this. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. No. Notice that when I do ask for the drop it command, I say her name to help her understand I'm talking to her, and then I deliver the command. And that command is very clear. And notice there again, she kind of went for it after she dropped it, and I just simply pulled her face away. Chloe, drop it. So here, good girl. Okay. So very comfortable. Now, she's been around all of my kids, ranging from 3 years old all the way up to 12. She's been really good with my kids. Kids are obviously like the biggest distraction for a puppy. I mean, they kind of look at him as one of the litter mates, so they always want to roughhouse, they always want to jump, they always want to chew, and it's very important that you are kind of the mediator for both your children as well as the dog. We can't let kids sit there and pull on her ears, but at the same time, she doesn't get to push kids around. So especially when Chloe has something of her own, it's important to monitor. I also really like to have toys around when kids pet Chloe, so that way it has something to direct her mouth towards. Okay, I believe that's all of our manners. So once again, this is what you're going to focus on for the next 3 days. We're going to make sure that she's offering that greeting, she's waiting at doorways, she's dropping things, waiting for her food, and just overall being very polite. But now we're going to hop into her obedience commands. Chloe, drop it. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, the first command that I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull this bed out, is going to be her place command. Like I said, Chloe loves to work. She will often train herself. Chloe, place. But when I tell her place, I'm going to point, and then I give her a reward when she goes on. Good girl. And now she's expected to stay until released. So the place command is my favorite command. Once again, I'll step near it, tell her place, I'll point. If she's not paying attention or she's staring up at me, which sometimes she does, she like gives this crazy good eye contact. And if she's just staring at me, I might have to step closer so that she reads my body language. But the expectation is that all 4 paws are on the bed. Once they're on, I'll tell her good and give her a treat. Now, my expectation is that she can hold this for 2 minutes, no problem at all, which she can do that easy. I've had her on there for up to 5 minutes while I've been doing various things. Now, the harder the distraction, the more I'm going to come over and reinforce her being on the bed. So if my kids are here, it's a little crazy, or I have other puppies out, I'll come over and say good and reinforce this behavior. Now, if it's just me and her like this, I'm not going to reinforce it near as often. So if I was doing the dishes, I'm going to keep an eye on her. However, I'm not going to come over and reinforce it every 20 seconds like I would if there was some chaos. But we are always adding our 3 Ds to all of these commands just to help solidify them. We also want to generalize them. So you'll notice when you get her home, it's going to be a new environment and she may be hesitant with a few things. And so we need to help her out. That's called generalizing the command. That's teaching her that the same expectations apply in every new setting. So we're always adding new things to help these commands solidify and just be better. So some of the harder things that we've added, throwing toys, having other dogs out are all difficult, but probably the hardest is leaving the room. So if I leave the building, she showed that she was under control and she stayed. I'll tell her, good girl, and I'll give her another treat. Notice when I reward her, I'm not hyping her up. I'm not getting her real excited. This is kind of a calming behavior. It's like, I need you just to relax over here out of the way. So real life application, I love this command when I'm bringing in groceries. It's like, go to your place, that way you're not underneath my feet. Doing the dishes, cooking, those are great times to practice the place command. I've also taught my personal dogs that anytime somebody does come to the door, so that knock or that doorbell, I can send them to their place, and that's their job. That way they're not rushing the door. But this takes a lot of practice, and all of these commands you need to practice, you need to work on so that they become even better. Now, when I release her, she's not going to get a treat. So I'm going to say, okay, good girl. Instead, I can pet her, tell her that she's a good girl, but no reward for coming off. I want her to think that she's going to get way more treats by being on that bed. And our goal is to create this command to be universal so that I can send her to anything with a defined boundary. So we've been practicing with boxes, with blankets, with rugs. You can do anything. And the way that you do that, Chloe, come here. I didn't put you there, I promise. Come here. So if I was going to send her, like if it was a different place, I want her to pay attention to me. Is I'm going to maybe guide her on, place, mark it with place, tell her good when all 4 paws are on. Now if she stepped off, I would just simply step into her and say no, and then I'll release her. Okay, good girl, place, and then send her right back and help her understand the boundary. Okay, good girl. Very similar, I can send her into her crate. Chloe, crate, as I just point, tell her crate. She gets a treat when she goes in and not when she comes out. Okay, good girl. Nope, crate. Good girl. So tell her crate, give her the treat. If she hesitates, I'll just keep my hand out. Maybe I'll tap on the top. Okay, good girl. Crate. Good dog. Okay, and I'm going to practice the crate command far more than I use it to lock her up. If I only use it when I lock her up, she's going to understand that, and she's not going to want to go in anymore because she associates it with you leaving her. So that's why we practice it. Notice if she goes in on her own, she can come out on her own. But if I send her there, she's expected to wait. Chloe. Crate. Good girl. So we've been practicing some distance there and just really building it up. Okay, good girl. Okay, so we have place and crate. Now we're going to do sit, down, and stay. So the hand signals, sit is a little scoop over her nose. Down, I take my hand flat and it's off to the side. And here, there you go, stay. And then stay is a stop sign. Sometimes Chloe likes to try and cheat and she goes like halfway down and hovers. So we need to make sure that she's all the way down. Now with her sit and down stays, so because those are like position specific, they're a little bit shorter. So she's doing about 30 seconds right now with various distractions. But the reason we can get longer stays on the place is she can get up and move around. So if she even came up into a sit, I'm going to correct that and send her back. Okay, good girl. Now, if I put her in a sit stay and it's been a few seconds and then she lays down, I'm okay with that because a down stay is just way more of a controlled and solid stay. Sit, stay. But here, if she immediately goes down, I'm going to bring her back up. Stay. No, because I don't want her thinking that my stay is a down. Stay. But she will always, she just likes to offer behaviors. That's something we've really focused on with her, is actually listening to what we're asking. See, now where it's been like 10 seconds and she lays down, she's just getting more settled. But I don't want her, once again, if I say stay, immediately going down. Okay, good girl. We're going to make it a little bit harder now. And we'll put her where you can see. Nope, Chloe, sit. So this is something else that I've practiced. Down, stay, is doing sits and downs in front of the place and crate so that she, once again, has to listen to me. So now I'm going to toss some treats on the ground. No. So there, that I consider that a break. No. Sit, down. So here we're pushing it by leaving the distractions. Stay. And if she couldn't handle it, then I might pick them up. But I know that she can do this, so that's why we're going to continually make it harder. Now with any of these, she breaks once or twice. I tell her no, have her do it again. Notice that there's really no emotion attached with the no. I don't want her to get frustrated and I don't want to get frustrated. But if she breaks a third time in a row, it's too hard. So then I need to back it off and I need to simplify the behavior to make sure that we get a success. I don't want to just keep pushing her to failure so she gets frustrated. Okay, good girl. So I'm going to let her eat those. So for example, if I was working on this downstay, she broke once or twice, I'll tell her no, have her do it again. But let's say each time she broke around like 15 seconds. So I don't want her to break a third time in a row. So instead of asking for another 15-second stay, I might just do a 5-second stay so that I get a success, I can reward her, and then I can either build her back up or say that we've been practicing for a while. Then I might say, you know what, let's just end there and we'll work on it a little later on. But that way she doesn't get to end with failure. Failure is a very important part of learning, but we never end there. So now today she's kind of being slow with that down. Notice I haven't asked for it again. Like I just say down and I hold that hand there. And then sometimes if she's being really slow, I might get a little bit lower, but I'm not repeating the command. I've asked for it once. You can tell she knows what I'm asking because she goes halfway. And so my body language is adjusting, helping her succeed. Chloe, sit. Down. Okay, good girl. So I want to make sure that we train to success. I want to help her out. But if she was really, really struggling, I will get lower. But I don't want to immediately go all the way down. I want her to use her processing skills and really be able to kind of problem solve and figure it out. Okay, now we are going to do her leave it command. And this is part of the reason I was throwing some treats on the ground is because I'm going to make her leave it command hard too. So I'm going to ask her to leave some treats. So I'm going to get some cheese to reward her. So anytime that we use food, especially food that she's eaten before, I like to get a higher value treat so that I'm teaching her that by leaving something alone, something better is coming in return. So I am going to take a hold of her leash because of this, so that way I can manage her. If she lunges for these treats, I can quickly tell her no. So I'm going to drop them right. See how she immediately kind of took off? So now I can tell her, leave it. Chloe, no, leave it. So here, good, no, good girl. I'm going to start giving her some feedback. As you can see, she really wants to go and eat those treats. Oh, we're not guessing, but I need her to completely leave it alone. Like I said, this is a little bit harder version here. When we're on a walk and we're passing something gross and I tell her leave it, I can just tell her, oh, good girl, and we can treat her as we get past it. But here with treats on the ground, I'm going to keep her in the environment, good girl, act gently, and make her continue to leave it alone. Chloe, leave it, good girl, act gently. So you can see now she's like, kind of amped up. She's almost, if you watch those back legs, they're like shaking. Say, you got 2 big treats on the ground. Now the hardest part of this with doing the leave it like this is when I go to clean those up. Because once again, my hands give all good things. My hands have been delivering the treats. So now my hands are in what I've asked her to leave it alone. So I need to be prepared that if she comes in and tries to grab one, I can tell her no and kind of push her away. No, leave it. See, like this. See how like so determined she is. No. So I can push her away. And this, I'm actually going to, no. Where she kind of pushed in against me, I'm going to give her a little bit more firm of a correction. Good. No, leave it. So now, I'll take it away. But see how like, yeah, this, where she's just like, oh, I've got to get the treat. I've got to get it. That's kind of her personality. Good. So once again, when I'm on a walk or I'm using it with something that's already on the ground, I can just tell her leave it, and I can reward her as we go. It's when we're picking it up or we're having her leave things that she's been able to eat, that's when it gets a little bit harder. So something to continue to work on. But I only ask for a leave it with things that I can take away from Chloe or I can take Chloe away from. So I'm never going to use it for like permanent objects in the house. It's more if I drop something that I don't want her to get or we're on a walk. So, which with that, we're now going to switch the camera angle just a little bit and go over her leash work. We're going to start with the heel. So we'll actually jump straight into a heel and then we'll talk about what to do if she's pulling, engagement, and then we'll cover the long lead walk and we'll end with the come command. So let me switch that around and we'll keep on going. Heel. Good girl. All right, so the heel is for you. This is not how we exercise Chloe. This is all about keeping her focus on me. Heel. So it's getting from point A to point B. We're working on avoiding distractions. Heel. And so it's very attentive. Kind of, we used to call it just an attention walk, where I'm just keeping her focus on me. So my expectations with the heel is that she's on my left side and she's focusing on me. If she looks forward a little bit, that's okay, but I need the majority of her focus to be on me. And I'm giving her a lot of feedback during this, right? So if she gets a little bit ahead of me, I'm going to tell her no. When she's doing good, I'm telling her that she's doing good. And when we're passing a distraction, I'm giving her even more feedback. So if we're passing another dog, a lot of times I'm like, oh, good girl, because she is very invested in the food and in the praise. And so if I can give her that feedback, she is going to ignore the things around. So I will also tell her heel, or I'll repeat the heel command anytime that we're restarting. So if we've stopped and then we started again, I'm going to tell her heel, or if we're switching directions, I'll tell her heel. But I need to just keep her focus during this. So when she's walking politely, she's by my side and she looks up with me, I am going to continue to reward her. Right now we're reinforcing this, every 20, maybe 30 seconds. When you start this, you're going to be reinforcing her a lot more. This is another time you really have to be aware of her mouth, making sure that she's not jumping up and trying to grab those treats. As you've seen in the notes, the last couple weeks we've been putting a lot of focus on her heel and making sure that we're rewarding her back by my knee, because Chloe likes to try and cheat forward so that she can stare at the treat bag. She thinks that if she stares at it, more treats are going to come. So I need to make sure that she's by my side because I don't want to step on her, I don't want to trip over her. So the way that we've been practicing that is by doing kind of one of two things, or a lot of times I mix them together. So if she quickly gets out in front of me, I'm going to do what's called a corrective U-turn, which is I just quickly immediately turn around and start walking the other direction. Or if she's just kind of off, like barely in front, I'll just step through her and I give her a little leash pressure back when I do that, just to help her stay in that position. So the heel is going to take the longest out of everything that we've worked on to transition over kind of to the full standard that I have her. And that's because it's relationship based. She needs to trust you that you're going to take care of her and that you have her well-being in mind, especially when you come across distractions like another dog or something that she might see as scary. So you're going to do like what I'm doing. The first little bit, you can start inside and just walk her around the kitchen when she's doing well with zero distractions. Then we'll take her outside and we'll practice in the backyard. Oh, she's doing well with the backyard. Now let's go to the front yard and let's go down a house, back a house. Okay, let's go a little further. And you are going to very gradually add more and more distractions. I would not try and heel with Chloe for the first 3 to 5 days. And then once again, as you develop this relationship, she's responding well to you, then start practicing. Because she is going to be stressed out. And so then all of a sudden you throw in another dog approaching, that might just put her into a reactive state. So she's over the top, she can't focus on you, she's stressed out because she doesn't trust you. And then it becomes a lot more difficult. So go slow, focus on her looking at you. And the first couple times that you practice the heel, like especially when you're in the house, if she's walking next to you and she's looking at you, don't be afraid to just dish out the treat. Just, oh, good girl, hush. So this is reactivity, hush. Good. So I tell her hush, I get between her and the distraction, which was just another dog that has been sleeping, just woke up abruptly out of a dream, startled her, so she barked. So I told her hush, I got between her, she sat, I rewarded her, and now we're fine. All right. So a couple things with this, which I'm gonna dive into the engagement here in just 1 second. So let's just say first off, we're on a walk and she starts to pull. So one, if she just gets a little distracted, she noticed something, she barked like that, I'm just gonna do something to get her attention. So if we're walking, it might just be, hey, Chloe, oh, good girl, good girl. Help her regain her focus, we're good. Now, if she starts pulling, so she's actually pulling to something, I'm gonna tell her no, and I'm gonna pop that leash twice. So it would be no, pop, pop. Notice those aren't hard, I'm not trying to yank her around, I'm not being mean, but it's just like a, hey, you need to focus on me. So the whole point of that leash correction is to regain her attention to then help change behavior. So if I tell her no, pop, pop, she focuses again, I'll take another step, oh, good girl, and I'll reward it. If she went back to pulling, I would try that one more time, but I'm gonna get a little bit more firm. So this time it would be no, pop, pop, right? So a little more firm, a little deeper with the no, help her understand that I mean business. If that works, great, I'll tell her good girl, we'll keep walking. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna come to a complete stop. So now all progression has halted. She does not get to advance to a distraction if she is pulling. So I come to a complete stop, which my expectation is when I stop, she stops and she sits. So this is when I can have a little pep talk with her, where it's like, oh, you know what? You're just a little distracted. Hey, can we keep walking? To which, if she's calm here, I would say yes. So then I would tell her heel and we would start walking again. If she immediately went to pulling, I'm going to either do that corrective U-turn or I'm going to step through her, and we're going to go opposite direction at a quick pace where it's like, nope, you have to focus on me. Come on. Good girl, good girl. And I'm going to quicken my pace and give her more feedback. If that means cutting her off, my body language is showing her, hey, you have to focus on me. Now, I'm not going to get really antsy, but it is going to be like, hey, focus. Oh, good girl, with lots of feedback. But let's say that we came to a complete stop and she was kind of doing what she demonstrated there. So she's barking, she's kind of freaked out. Maybe she's trying to run away in fear, or maybe she's standing here grounding. Bark, 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 bark. That's what we would consider reactivity. So she's entered into the red zone where she's fixating on a distraction. She's reactive, once again, whether that's fear-based or whether that's excitement. Either way, trying to heal past that distraction is probably not going to end well. So instead, I would rather engage with her. And engagement kind of follows the same steps as pulling. So immediately, I'm going to back her up. So once again, distance is your best friend. With everything with distractions, getting some distance is the best thing you can do. There's always an amount of distance that Chloe can start to regain her focus. So if she started barking at that dog, I'm going to tell her no. I'm going to back her up. So if I can, once again, I'll step through her, back her up. We're going to walk. We're going to get some distance. Now I'm going to put myself between her and the distraction. So my back facing the distraction, and I will reward simple victories. Oh, you're not pulling? Good girl. You're sitting? Good girl. You're looking at me? Good girl. I will reward those to help her come out of that reactive state and start to focus on me. As she does, as she kind of comes to this point where she's no longer being reactive, we'll open up, and that way we can observe the distraction. We will watch without interacting. Okay? Observe without interact. And as she's calm, I'm going to reward her, tell her she's a good girl. And at this point, I can start to incorporate like a watch me command. So watch me is just to get eye contact. Well, here I'll use a treat as a distraction. Watch me. Okay, good girl. She makes eye contact with me. I mark and reward it. So it's a very simple command, but if we can break eye contact off of the distraction back to me, I can reward her. Once the distraction's gone, then we can continue. So I like to set time aside to where I can work on this. If you have a park nearby where it's like, let's go sit on the bench and we're going to watch joggers and bicyclists and people with strollers and other dogs, and we can just watch them go by and reward calm behavior. That's what I want to do. We'll go sit on the bench. I'll have her sit next to me, and every time a distraction comes, good girl, I'm going to reward calm behavior. So we call it the art of doing nothing. So that's what to do if she gets a little overstimulated. Now, once again, as I said, that heel is for you. When I'm going to exercise Chloe, my preferred method is to use a long lead, which is what we're going to go over now. And which, when I'm on a long lead walk, anytime I encounter a distraction, I reel her in and I can go into a heel. So you can still mix the two together. It's just one, she's not allowed to decide where we go. The heel, you're directing her, you're in charge. Whereas a long lead, she can be a dog. So it's kind of an enrichment walk. She can explore, she can stop and sniff, and if she wants to stop and sniff, I'm going to allow it. So we go at her pace, but she's still not allowed to pull. Anytime she gets to the end of the leash, that's when I practice our recall command, which is your most important command. So I don't use retractable leashes. I would rather have this one that drags, because this is going to, if she did take off and she was big and I was afraid she was going to pull me down, I have time to drop the leash. Retractable leashes also teach them to rely on pressure to get more space. So I use just a long lead. This is a 15-foot lead. It's great for around neighborhoods or when we take them up to campus, things like that. So I get used to stepping over the leash, maybe switching hands. But this walk is for her to be a dog. So if she wants to stop and sniff something, we're going to stop and sniff something. She can go behind me. She can go around me. She just cannot pull. So like I said, this is a time where I really work on that recall, which when I'm going to call her, I'm going to say her name. There's going to be a brief pause, because if I can tell that she's ignoring me or she can't hear me, I may say her name again to get her attention before I deliver the come command. So it'd be her name, brief pause, and then come. the moment that she turns and starts coming towards me, I'm going to say, good girl, good girl. So that way I'm encouraging her. I'm telling her that's the right thing, keep coming. And then once she gets to me, it's okay and she gets a treat. So it kind of looks like this. Oh, you were laying down. If she stays next to me, it makes it a little bit harder. Chloe, come. Good girl. Okay. So obviously that was very short because she was right here. And if she ignores me, I tell her no, and I just give a little bit of pressure with this leash. It does not take much pressure, and she'll just cave in, which she has a phenomenal recall. Here we go. Chloe, come. Good girl. Okay. Notice I'm not expecting her to sit. Right when she gets to me, I say, okay, and give her that treat. So this one, I'm going to actually ask her to sit. Good girl. I'm going to set her up. So we'll pretend that I had called her to come. But if I just tell her, no, good girl, okay. So the slightest pressure, she will cave in and come to me. Obviously, she was really focused on me there. And a lot of times if she's ignoring me, she's going to be focused on something else. I just tell her no, give her that pressure. I'm not dragging her. I'm not yanking her around. It's just a quick pressure, and then I let go of it. Because if she might be wrapped up, and I don't want to drag her, but I just want her to understand, like if I say, no, good girl, she has to come to me. So obviously if she fails, you have a leash and it's very easy to follow through. But if she's off leash and you call her to come, if she ignores you, you have to go and get her. And so we'll see if she'll wander just a little bit, which I don't expect because she's Chloe and she needs to be right next to whoever has the treats. Chloe, come. Good girl. Okay. So if she ignored me, I would immediately tell her no, and I'd start walking towards her. So I'm not going to chase her because she's definitely faster than me. However, I hope that I'm just slightly smarter. So I would just tell her no and start walking towards her. If she then picked up her head and noticed me, I would stop walking and I'd be like, good girl, good girl. And she's going to come running to me. Good dog. Okay. But if she didn't, I would go all the way over to her. And once I got to her, I could either hook a leash on and tell her, Chloe, come, and have her follow me. Or if I didn't have a leash, I'd take her under the collar and I would just say, Chloe, come, good girl, and have her follow me backwards. So that's how I follow through with that. No matter what, if I call her to come, she has to do it. She doesn't get to ignore me. She doesn't get to just go off and play, because the moment that I say, I'll worry about you later, is the moment she goes, oh, I don't have to listen to them. And the recall is your most important command. So before you let her off leash, make sure that you practice it a lot on lead. And once you feel like she's doing really, really well on lead, then you can take her off, start in the backyard and practice this recall. Once you feel like she's doing well there, then maybe you can start to implement more and more off-leash behaviors. But yeah, so that's our demonstration. That's all of it. That's a lot of information. Chloe's great. She's, like I said, she's super fun to work with because she is so motivated. She's so driven. It's made training just a lot of fun. Make sure you give her plenty to do. She needs an activity, and as you notice, we've been training now for an hour, and she hasn't slowed down. So she's got the energy, but we've loved her, huh, sister? So very fun dog. She grunts all the time every time I pick her up. But thanks again for letting us train her, and if you have any questions, please let me know. But I appreciate it.